ayes have it. 26 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor of the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Those in favor of the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate plenary.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we resolve to the plenary for Mr. President.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resume plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse the plenary for the charge to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Health Insurance Agency Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 49 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the committee of the whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate. Carried in.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move that the bill now be read the third time.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read a third time. I so second.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Policy to institute care services for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters.
Territory Health Insurance Agency to institute the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Scheme and provide comprehensive, quality and affordable health care services for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related.
Thank you, Mr. President. The second order of the day is the second reading of the Institute of Information and Communication Technology, INSU, Ehime Mbano, Establishment Bill 2023, SB 1105. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 28 February 2023. Mr. President, you may wish.
Distinguished Senator Frank Chukuma Ibezim.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Chukuma Frank Ibezim, I represent Imo North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it gives me satisfaction and joy that the bill was read for the first time in the Harlow Chamber on Tuesday, 28 February 2023. The Institute, when established, will carry out scientific and applied research in the area of modern information technology application to optimize processes and decision support systems, and also provide dynamic learning infrastructure with quality education through rigorous teaching and research methodologies in information and communication. Professionals, experts and scholars in the field of ICT, electronics, software engineering, and telemedicine. Furthermore, the Institute is ensuring a place of pride for our talent in the workplace as a means of communication. Today, businesses rely on it heavily. Technology now that all businesses have social network websites that will enable service delivery and giving updates to their customers. courses in information and communication technology, engineering technology, applied sciences, management sciences, and other fields of study leading to the award of ordinary national diploma, provide facilities and encourage research in all its areas of focus to aid the development of Nigeria in the areas of industry, commerce, technology, engineering, etc. To perform such other functions, which is in the opinion of the Institute may serve to promote its objectives. To provide a well-developed and articulate technical education through consistent research, provide appropriate training and vocational dexterity for a self-reliant and focused Nigerian student, and also to provide industrial skills for those who want to be employees of labor or gainfully employed. To perform such other functions as in the opinion of the Council may serve to promote the objectives pursuant to this bill. ICT is the trending best practice the world over, and an institute specially designated for this purpose should be a welcome development. In line with other social implication of the establishment of the institute is hereby attached. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I solicit your support for the second reading of this bill. I so move. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Basiru Ajibola Surajuddin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Surajuddin Ajibola Bashiru. I represent Osun Central Senatorial District. It's my pleasure to Information and Communication Technology Unsu Ehime Mbano Establishment Bill 2020. The purpose of the establishment of the institution has been aptly captured in the lead debate by Senator Frank Mbezim. And as we know, we are in a world whereby our teeming youth and the young persons have necessary knowledge to be able to compete in this world is a welcome development. And of course, of this court. So I have no much bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator.
President, I rise to lend my support to this bill. But Mr. President, to make some observations and some suggestions as it relates to the financial implication of the bill, Mr. President. Mr. President, it is expected that the federal government we incur these expenditures that are stated in this bill. And so I would have expected that the mover of this bill would have changed the name of the institute to read Federal Institute of Information and Communication Technology, because they say he who pays the piper dictates the tune. You expect the federal government to expend this huge amount of money in the establishment of an institution. And the federal government, there's nothing that reflects that this institute belongs to the federal government. So, Mr. President, that would be our observation and suggestion that should be changed to Federal Institute of Information and Communication Technology Institute. Mr. President, you are not listening, so I will recast what I've said.
How do you know I was not listening? I heard you very well. But, not because I didn't hear you. I heard you very well, loud and clear.
Mr. President, I say that I support fully the establishment of this institute, but I have observation and suggestion. The expenditure attached here is expected. So my suggestion is that the name of the institute should be Federal Institute of Information Technology, Federal Institute of Information and Communication Technology Institute, instead of the way it is. In that wise, the federal government will know that they are sponsoring an institution that belongs to the federal government and not a private institute. That was my suggestion.
Okay, that's, I had exactly the same thing you said now. I'm sure the distinguished Senator Nora Ladi Dadut, Plateau South.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, I am Nora Ladi Dadut, representing Plateau South Senatorial District. I think in solidarity with my colleagues, I want to add my voice to this presentation of this bill. First of all, we know and we agree that knowledge is power. And we understand that when we have the power to demonstrate and to project the image of our nation, I think we will win. So my only concern here is that we've been promoting establishment of institutions, of institutes, and I would want to suggest also that we should also in the universities. I agree with this bill, but I want to add that we should look at the various departments of communications in our federal institutions or in the universities in general, in tertiary institutions. Because if we don't have that capacity to maintain and also to establish a very standard and high sounding information centers, we may lose the objective. So I want to say that I will suggest to the sponsor of this bill that in line with what we have already in the tertiary institutions, we should also make provisions and suggest the best ways we can to maintain and support and promote the various departments of communications in our universities. I so submit, Mr. President.
Okay, two things, please. Two things. One, no, you may sit down, please. The suggestion by Senator Gabriel Suswam, this is general principle, debating the general principles of the bill, how the bill could be at the end of the day, or how the law could be. Professor, what you are suggesting cannot be accommodated in this bill, because this is to establish an institute. What you are suggesting can come, maybe you can come up with a motion, or if there is any way you can come up with a bill, but we cannot include what you are suggesting here in this particular bill. But while we cannot do much, especially in the area of changing the title, and I agree with submission by Gabriel Suswam that federal government should be there, because as it is, anybody could claim it when it is established. The report, the title would have, the name would have changed. So you carry the suggestion forward so that when the public hearing is conducted by whoever, the name should carry the Federal Government Institute of Information and Communication Technology, INSU, and I think that would be appropriate. So those in favor that this will be now read the second time, say aye. Those against, say
Distinguished Mr. President of the Institute of Information and Communication Technology in Ehime Mbano, and for other matters connected therewith, 2023, second reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Institute of Information and Communication Technology INSU, Ehime Mbano, and for other matters connected therewith, 2023, Second reading taken, and the bill is referred to the Committee on ICT and Cyber Security for further legislative action to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third to the fifth order of the day are House bills for concurrence as listed on the other paper. The 20 senators will recall that these bills were read the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 22nd December 2022, and Wednesday, 21st December 2022, respectively. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the bills and interchamber reciprocity, I will use a single lead debate on these bills. Mr. President.
You may proceed, please. Point of order, distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo.
Mr. President, order 86, 85, 5, 6, 5 and 6C. Let me not waste our time. Just to make emphasis on something. If you permit me, I'll read. Thank you, Mr. President. When a bill originating in the Senate has been read the third time, a printed copy of it signed by the clerk of the Senate and endorsed by the President of the Senate shall be forwarded by the clerk of the Senate to the clerk of the House of Representatives, together with a message desiring the concurrence of the House of Representatives. That is 5. Then 6C. When a bill passed by the Senate and sent to the House of Representatives for concurrence is sent back to the Senate with House of Representatives amendment, the Senate shall resolve. Mr. President, I only bring up this one because there was a promise here one day, all our bills that we sent to them that are raised here and third reading we are taking, you promised that they have to confirm how many of them had gone into concurrence there. So we'll be able to know whether some of the bills we brought forward here are also being treated very well. And I think we've not gotten that response. I don't know whether it was brought when I was not in the chamber. But my thinking is that if we have not done and taken care of there, because whenever their rules are coming, we are attending to them very well, with happiness and joy, without receiving anything. But we don't know the nature of our own, or the status of our own, what they are doing in that area. So
thank you. You didn't have to come through these orders because you could have simply come under maybe personal information or something. You have only stopped the process of the passing of this bill for the second reading. But I've noted, and you are quite right, we need to know how the bills from the Senate that originated from the Senate have been treated as well in concurrence, just like we have been doing. Almost every day when we sit here, we concur with 5, sometimes 6 bills from the House, and I believe that they should be doing the same. So your point of order is noted. Clerk of the Senate. No, it's all right. I think Leader of the Senate, sorry.
This is the lead debate on the bills for concurrence from the House of Representatives. The bills are Federal Medical Center, Akugo Kanu West, Establishment Bill 2023, House Bill 1098. 2, Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obuafia, Akwamu, Enugu State, Establishment Bill 29116, LFN 2004, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023, House Bill 1909. The Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obuafia, Akunawu, Enugu State, Bill 2023 HB 1157. This bill seeks to provide the establishment of the Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obuafo, and Akunana, Enugu State, to provide training and research in general nursing, midwifery, and other specialties of nursing. 1098. This bill seeks to amend the Federal Medical Center Act 2022 to establish Federal Medical Center, Akpogo, Nkanu, envisioned as a multidisciplinary space for treatment, research, harnessing science and development initiative means of tackling numerous health challenges, among others. The Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act (CAP) N116 LFN 2004 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023 House Bill 1909. The bill seeks to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act and enact the Nigerian Institute of Technology and Skills Acquisitions, Training and Services, and share experience with experts of professional bodies, other national, regional, and international transport technology, logistics and management training institutions, and to promote links and enter into bilateral or these are straightforward and not controversial and have gone through the necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of these bills as we enter them, as we refer them to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. Thank you.
Yes, any comments? Okay, Committee of the Whole to consider the reports. Leader, Committee of the Whole to consider the reports. Sorry? Leader, Minority Leader, can you second this order will go to the Committee of the Whole, please?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider these reports as so second.
Sorry? Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, we have to refer to the Committee of the Whole, all the three. Are there 3 or 4? Leader, how many of them? Okay, all the 3 bills are referred to the Committee of the Whole for us to consider. Committee of the Whole. You go ahead, do it again. Do it again. I reverse the process.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I hereby move that we resolve to Committee of the Whole.
Second the motion by the Senate.
Resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider these reports as so second.
Those who know that this the Senate resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the 3 reports, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Okay. We start with Federal Medical Center, Akpogo, Nkanu. Those who are at clause 1 and clause 2 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. Those who are at the short title stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. Those who are at the explanatory memorandums, those against, any the ayes have it. Report number 2. Nursing, College of Nursing, Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obofia. The second report. Those who are at clause 1 to 5 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6 is on page 5. Those who are at clause 6 to 10 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11 is on page 10. Employees of the agency. Those who are at clause 11 to 15 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 16 on page 12 to 20 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 21 refusal of license to 25 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 26 is on page 16. Those who are at clause 26 to 30 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 31 to 35 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 36 to 37, clause 36 and 37 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause, the interpretation on page 12 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the short title on page 13 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the explanatory memorandum on page 13 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The last report, Nigerian clause 1 to 5 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes. Those who are at clause 11 to 15 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 16 to 20 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 21 annual report on page 20, 26 to 30 stand part of the bill say aye. Ayes have it. Those who are at interpretation on page 27, 8 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at the schedule on page 28 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. At the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, Plenary.
Distinguished colleagues, I move that the chamber revert to plenary for the president.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate
The Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the Federal Medical Center Akpugo Nkanu West, established in Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, also considered the Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obofia, Okunanau, Enugu State, established in Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 37 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Senate in the Committee of the Whole also considered the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, Cap N116, LFN 2004, repealed and enacted in Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 31 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate, third reading.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I now move that this bill be read the third time.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that these bills be now read a third time. I so second.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the three bills be now read.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Abugo, Kano, for the related matters, 2023, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to Enugu State and for related matters, 2023, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, CAP 116, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Bill to provide for full-time and part-time courses of instruction and training for the general development of transport and logistics sector of the Nigerian economy for junior, middle, senior cadre managers, technicians, technologists, artisans, and for related matters, 2023, third reading.
A bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Akubo, Nkanu, and for related matters, 2023, third reading taken, and the bill is passed. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obufuya, Aukunanau, Enugu State, and for related matters, 2023, third reading taken, and this bill is also passed. A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Act, CAP N 116, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Bill to provide for the full-time and part-time courses of instruction and training for the general development of transport and logistics sector of the Nigerian economy for junior, middle, senior cadre, managers, technicians, technologists, artisans, and for related matters, 2023, third reading taken, and this bill is also passed. Well, congratulations. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. Please, distinguished colleagues, we have exhausted us for returning and working very hard within this legislative week. The idea of reconvening immediately after the election was to ensure that we are abreast with every situation, both that happened during elections and happening now, so that we remain part and parcel of the solutions where necessary. And we have achieved that, and we have also in the process done other legislative work. So today is the last day. We have to adjourn for all of us to participate in the campaigns and elections of the governors and state assembly members, of course, except FCT. And let me, on behalf of all of us, wish the 6 gubernatorial candidates from this chamber. First, the distinguished senator representing Adamawa Central, distinguished Senator Aishatu Ahmed Modibo Binani, is running for the governorship of Adamawa State. The next is distinguished Senator Hallo Rujika, running for the governorship of Bauchi State under the platform of the NNPP. Then distinguished Senator Professor Sandy Ono is running for the governorship of Cross River State under the platform of the PDP. Distinguished Senator Obasani is running under the platform of the APC for Distinguished Senator Emmanuel Boacha running for the governorship. No, not last but not the least. Actually, second to the last. That one is the main masquerade. And of course, our own Deputy President of the Senate is running for the governorship of Delta State under the platform of the APC. We wish all of them success. And let me say that Nigeria will be making history. This Senate will be making history. Senator Aishatu Ahmed Modibo will be making history to be the first Nigerian woman to be directly elected into the office of the governor of a state. And we wish all our colleagues, well, those of us who are not running, sorry? It's a distinguished Senator Teslim Folarin. In fact, that could be the giant killer. He could come back as a governor of Oyo State. So we have so many, we should all go and participate in the processes, because we would be able to observe firsthand some of the issues that may arise. During the presidential and national assembly elections, I think on a general note, everything went on fine, but still, we have one or two complaints coming from the general public. I think INEC should consider looking into issues raised by the public. And for citizens, we should wish, for the Nigerian citizens, we should support INEC in whatever way we can, so that it conducts the governorship and state assembly elections successfully, because that is what we all expect, and that's what we need as a democracy. Lastly, I will call for adjournment. We will be out of this place for the next 2 weeks or so. And the idea is we'll come back and continue with our legislative functions. And I want to thank most sincerely every single senator for doing everything possible to make
today's proceedings on the order paper. I hereby move that Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 14th of March. Tuesday, 14th of March, 2023 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Minority Leader, Tuesday, 14th of March.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do adjourn to Tuesday, 14th.
Senator Biodun Orujimi, are you consulting with the IE? Please. Oh, okay. Okay, you need a consultant. Don't go directly like that. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate is hereby adjourned. The Senate is hereby adjourned until the 14th day of March, 2023 at 10 a.m. prompt. And the idea is we do the elections on 11th, and 3 days after we are back to the chamber for a plenary. Therefore, the Senate is hereby adjourned. Thank you.